We begin with Hunter and Joe Biden. All right. So whatever transacted between those two men is still undefined. So we don't know exactly what the Hunter Joe and Jim Biden, Hunter, the president's brother, we don't know exactly how that came down. What we do know is the Biden family derived between $20 and $30 million, perhaps more, for doing nothing. That's in stone fact, can't be disputed. Anybody who does dispute it is lying to you. We don't know where all of that money went. We do know that Hunter Biden was prosecuted by the federal government, the Treasury Department, IRS, for not paying taxes on more than $1 million. That has led to subsequent investigations of Hunter's father, the president. Because, and you know the story, the laptop and all of that. But right now, Joe Biden is in danger himself because it's just a day away that somebody comes out of that morass and says, he got this, it's over. I don't know whether that will happen. What I do know for sure is the Democratic Party is taking a horrendous beating on this. The whole party, because there isn't anyone in the Democratic Party that is criticizing the Biden influence selling situation. Not one. Non-ideological Americans who are paying attention know that. When Nixon got into trouble, there was a segment of the Republican Party in the early 1970s that said, hey, we want to know what this is all about. When Trump got in trouble, there are the so-called rhinos, all right, Republicans in name only, who either turned on Trump or said, look, we need to have a little bit more information. But on the Democratic side, you got nobody. But inside the party, there is trouble. Robert Costa is a political correspondent for CBS News. Here's what he said yesterday.
Inside the White House this weekend and inside the Biden campaign, I've made a lot of calls, and it's evident that they don't welcome what's going to be potentially a drip, drip, drip of developments on the Justice Department front with Hunter Biden. But they see it ultimately as a distraction, not something that's going to be a burden for President Biden's campaign.
And that's because they want to see it that way. But it is already a distraction for the Democrats and Biden's campaign. Joe Biden's job approval numbers will soon sink below 40, where he is now, into the mid-30s. Because, again, honest Americans, not ideological, not party apparatchiks, are going, this is not right. And even if Joe Biden did not take money, he enabled the whole thing to happen as vice president. And he did. That is true. So the Democrats are desperately trying to search for a message. And here's all they can come up with. Go.
Like you said, it's almost 5 years, and it's going to go on longer now.
5 years, and there's no evidence linking Hunter's business dealing to the president. The Republicans have tried everything in Congress. They've tried everything. But this is warmed over, leftovers, and I do believe at the end of the day, if they can get that deal back on the table, Hunter Biden will be able to finally live his life again.
That is a fantasy, what she just said. And I like Donna Brazile. I've known her for many years, but that is so blatantly dishonest, what she said. I mean, it's just flat out insane. So number one, she says there's no evidence linking Hunter's business dealing to the president. That's not true. We know that Joe Biden, as vice president, took meetings, got on the phone, all of that. And he didn't do it out of foreign policy or for the United States, for you and me. He did it because his son asked him to do it, because his son was doing business with foreign entities. So Donna Brazile flat out misled the whole nation. Okay? That's what she did. There's no two sides to that story. Now, the ABC interviewer wasn't smart enough to point it out, or was ordered not to. Okay. And then Ms. Brazil goes on to say, at the end of the day, whenever you hear somebody say at the end of the day, that means they're not thinking. They're reciting what they've been told to say, as she was. She's reciting. Once we get the deal back on the table, this, deal that the judge said this is absurd, it's so lenient, then Hunter Biden will get back to live his life again. I mean, come on. Hunter Biden's never going to get back to live his life again. He's tainted forever. I mean, this is just, I'm sitting there. I didn't see it, but my crack producers did. They sent it to me, and I just go like this. It comes a point where you just have to shut it off. So right now, the Democrats, the smart Democrats, the K Street people who understand, they're looking out a year. Remember, it's a year from now where all presidential candidates have to register to get on the ballots for the primaries in the states. Okay? I'm sorry, that's a misstatement. I just made a mistake. There isn't a definite date where you have to register, but it's coming up for each individual state. Okay? And in order to run for president a year from now, you have to be on the ballot, presidential ballot. So a third-party person would have to be on it a year from now, August, because the vote will be in November. But to get on the state ballots, New Hampshire, South Carolina, all of that, that's rapidly coming up. And each state has a different date. So if you're going to run, you got to get it in gear. There's nobody except RFK Jr. running on the Democratic side, and he has no shot. Republicans got about 9 people running. Okay. So the Democratic Party, they sense that more is coming, and more is coming. Believe me, in September, when the House, Judiciary, and Oversight Committees get back in motion, they're going to have new stuff. They're going to put it out. And people are going to listen to it. Why? Because even if you are a dope, D-O-P-E, if you know nothing, and believe me, millions of people are in that category, you know what bribery is. You know what getting money for nothing is. All right? Easy to understand. We'll deal with Trump in a minute, but Trump electoral alternate vote, very complicated. This is easy. And the Republicans are going to push this, not only to try to destroy Joe Biden, who's probably finished at this point. My prediction is by Christmas he'll be out. I could be wrong about that, of course. But the Democrats are looking around and going, what are we going to do if Joe Biden goes down? What are we going to do? Gavin Newsom got a lot of money out there in California, but he's a terrible candidate. California is a disaster. I mean, people in California are getting punished by Gavin Newsom. He's punishing his own people. Try to buy some gasoline in California. So he can't win. I can't imagine this man. All right? So there's only one other name. That's Michelle Obama. So I'm on Michelle Obama, okay? Because I said very early on that this is a viable Democratic candidate. She would win. She would beat Trump. She is popular. Just her book sales alone tell you that. It wasn't the greatest book in the world, believe me. Michelle Obama could put together a coalition of minorities and women and liberal men. Nobody could beat her. Michelle Obama knows that. But at this point in history, I can't get any confirmation that she wants to do it. So let's run it down. She's going to be 60 years old if she decides to run. She'll be 60. She's got 2 grown young girls who are women now. She's got a good education, Princeton, Harvard Law School. She is a fanatical Democrat. She worked for, I didn't even know this, Mayor Richard Daley of Chicago. She worked for him as an assistant, 1991. And then she came up and she met Barack in the Democratic apparatus. So there's no problem on the Democratic side. If Michelle Obama tomorrow calls up whoever the head of the DNC is at this point and says, I'd like to run, she got it. Joe would resign the next day. She's in. She doesn't want to campaign. She doesn't want to go out to Iowa and to all these places. She doesn't want to do it. She doesn't have to do it. All she'd have to do is show up at the convention, all right, in Chicago, and say, I'm here, I'm ready. Boom. So I can't tell you what's going to happen. I can tell you the Democratic Party is in dire trouble. Dire. And the only one that can save them is Michelle Obama. And that's the memo. The chairman of the Fed is promising more pain ahead. Last year's stocks dropped a whopping 20%. 2023 could be worse. You are right to be worried. So call the only precious metal dealer I trust, American Hartford Gold. They will show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. Since I've been a client and spokesperson, the price of gold has appreciated more than 35%. So please call today and they'll have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or put inside your IRA or 401k. They have thousands of satisfied customers and have the highest rating in the country with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Please tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you and they will give you up to $5,000 of free silver on your first order. Please call 866-501-5201. That's 866-501-5201 or text BILL to 65532. Again, that's 866-501-5201 or text BILL to 65532. Thank you for watching the No Spin News. To watch the full episode anytime on BillO'Reilly.com, please sign up to become a premium or concierge member. Visit BillO'Reilly.com to sign up and start watching today.